Welcome, everyone, to episode 16 of the official podcast for Guardian 1, a Destiny group dedicated to the prosperity of Guardians everywhere. We broadcast live Thursdays at 8 Pacific, 11 Eastern, right here on twitch.tv/Guardian 1 Network. My name is Remy, and tonight I am joined by River.
How's it going, everyone?
Crimson Warlock.
What's up, guys?
Jez.
What it is.
And Agrios and Dendros.
Greetings, Guardians.
We are going to be talking about all things Destiny, but first, housekeeping.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening into the podcast. However it is that you choose to listen, be sure to follow Guardian 1 on Twitter at G1Net. That's G1NET. Just a reminder that the Twitter account is the only instance where we use the number 1. So again, that's G1NET. In addition, be sure to check out the Guardian 1 website at guardian1.net. You can also send us feedback to our email, feedback@guardian1.net. We also have a Bungie.net forums group that's currently at 115 members. If you want to join, just search for the group name Guardian 1. Guardian 1 has its own clan, so if you want to join the Guardian 1 clan, just select the buttons that say Set as PlayStation Clan or Set as Xbox Clan after you join the group. We utilize the forums for comments and feedback, so be sure to join the conversations going on there. Big thank you to all of you guys out there on the Twitch chat. As Remy has said at the top of the podcast, you can watch the show live at twitch.tv/Guardian1 Network. We broadcast every Thursday at 11 p.m. East, 8 p.m. Pacific. If you can't catch the show live, you can always go to the Guardian 1 YouTube channel at youtube.com/Guardian1 Network. Guardian 1 is also a proud member of the Guardian Radio Network, so be sure to check out the Guardian Radio Network website at theguardiansofdestiny.com. There you'll find all the other different podcasts, as well as the which include the flagship podcast, the Guardian Radio, Warlock School, TTL Party Chat, the DoD podcast, which is the Dads of Destiny podcast, as well as Ghosts and Echoes, which is the audio drama produced by Craig Hargrove of Guardian Radio. Yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you very much, River.
Yep.
Okay, special announcement. Today is Flounder's birthday, and I would like to thank her for her continued support by singing happy birthday to her on the show right now with the help of this fine panel. So, very happy birthday to you, Flounder. And a 1, and a 2, and a happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Flounder. Happy birthday to you.
That probably sounded amazing.
Man, I can't wait to hear that. I wanted to sing happy birthday to Jez when it was his birthday, and he politely asked us not to, and so, I figured I would do that for him. But I really...
a good choice.
I'm very excited to hear the playback, because, the latency between all of us, it's going to be awesome to hear. And you all heard it, how I'm looking forward to hearing it. So, number 1, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. Number 2, sorry about that. But yes, a very happy birthday to Flounder. Also, very special happy birthday to AJ, who might be the youngest in Guardian 1. Very happy birthday to you. Also, his birthday today. How crazy is that? How crazy
Happy birthday, AJ.
Happy birthday to one and all. So, let us get to Zor. I want to talk about Zor. He's coming tonight, and probably at his new time. Like, I'm going to guess that he's an hour earlier than he was, because the dailies reset, the bounties reset an hour early now. And so, 1 o'clock our time, or 1 o'clock my time. It's going to show up. And last week I bought Patience and Time, and Patience and Time feels great. Like, there's a very specific kick that's designed into the controller, and also the sound is amazing. In addition to that, it makes you invisible. Like, after you hold down the aiming, it makes you invisible after like 3 seconds. And the really cool thing about that is that once you fire, it turns your cloak off, but you can get off as many shots in that 3 seconds as you can before you cloak. So you can actually take a couple shots and then cloak, and that's awesome. That is awesome. It's a great weapon. Did anyone else here buy it?
Oh yeah, it sounds the best.
Yeah. So are you enjoying it? Have you maxed it out already?
Oh no, I haven't had time to play with it. 'Cause I'm too used to using guns that are better than it in play wise, but this sounds the best.
I'm used to using guns that are better than it, so
Yeah, it's like why would you use it when you could always have ammo with Icebreaker?
I'm really regretting not buying Icebreaker, and so for that reason, that is what I want to see from Zur this week. Like, I would love to see Icebreaker. Like, I was a fool to have not picked it up previously, and I recant. I'm ready. I'm ready to pick it up now. In addition to that, I also want to see like a helmet, an exotic warlock helmet, because I'm trying to get my warlock to level 29, so I can run 2 raids a week. So was Jez the only one who bought Patience in Time?
I bought it as well.
Yeah, have you played with it?
I haven't played with it yet because I won a icebreaker from the Nightfall last week.
Ooh.
So I've been playing with that. But I'm kind of to the point where I'm only going to buy weapons from Zur now. Mostly because if you happen to find an exotic out in the wild, it usually has better stats. Like 2 weeks ago, I got the Void Fang vestments from the Nightfall, and they had 3 less strength on them than my fully upgraded ones I bought from Zur. So after 1 upgrade, they were just as good as the ones that I bought from Zur that were fully upgraded. And so when it comes to exotics, I think I'm just going to try and wait to find the armor out in the wild. But the weapons I'll probably buy from Zur every week if
That's
I need them.
insane.
So you're
Interesting.
suggesting to all the listeners out there to get their armor from drops. They're better than what you can get from Zur, right?
Most of
That's
the time,
what
but
I've
not
seen.
100% of the time.
Yeah.
That happened to me in every case except for one just recently. Just like he said about the Void Fang vestments, I actually bought them from Zur, and then the very next night got them from the Nightfall. And my starting strength was stronger than my almost capped out strength bonus from the ones I bought from Zur. And it's at the plus 132 now, I think. But interestingly enough, I had the reverse happen with the Sunstriker gauntlets. The ones I brought from Zur leveled up to 102, plus 102 strength. But ones I got from an exotic engram, in fact, started at plus 73 strength. And would have never leveled up anywhere near the plus 102 of my others.
Crazy.
So to everyone who's listening, if you really want to be sure, you have to keep track of all your stuff. Keep track of all the stats. Make a spreadsheet. Compare. That's the suggestion.
It's not even impossible to think that somebody's already got a spreadsheet out there.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that's one of the things that I'm looking forward to bringing to Guardian1.net soon, is I'm going to be adding a section where you can basically find all the really cool sites. Like, I know that there are many sites out there that do this, but like, they're going to be specific in that they will be useful. It's not just going to be filler. It's going to be something that everybody wants, like that Destiny public events. Like, that's really cool. I want to have that resource linked on our page so that, people who are just starting this in a year, imagine how handy that will be, so.
The key thing to keep track of is the starting stat, because if it's fully leveled, it's like, oh, I don't know how much leveling it's going to increase it by.
You'll have to keep track of it as soon as you get it.
Yeah. That's what I've run into lately.
On the wiki pages, the ones that I've looked up any exotics on, they tend to give a range in the stat. Like, I guess, people report what the ranges are on them, so they have a low and a high end. Like, this to this is the range on that exotic on that wiki entry.
That's awesome. Very awesome.
even though I'd much rather exotics have set stats completely fixed. But yeah,
I'm
So,
with you.
so what are you looking forward to, River? Is there something that Zur could possibly have that you are like super down to get right now?
Not particularly.
Really,
Well,
you're not looking forward to anything. You don't need anything.
Well, not right now because I play so not as often, and I'm still working on leveling up my stuff right now. So if I get like an influx of exotics, I'm not going to be able to do anything with it yet. I mean, I don't have Icebreaker. I guess I would like to have Icebreaker.
Oh, so you would like to have Icebreaker?
Yes. I mean, I see how OP it is in most cases, so it would be nice to have, but I don't need it.
I just can't get over how handy a regenerating weapon is. Like that's insane. Like as far as fire break calculus is concerned, that weapon is the way to go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'll sit down any fool
Nope.
who's got it.
Honestly, I don't know how I was able to play the game without it. Like, I've had mine for a week, and it's been a game changer.
Interesting.
It's my go-to gun for almost any activity. I'm like, where's my icebreaker? I gotta make sure I have that.
And so yours is totally maxed out.
No, since I got it Monday night. I've gotten the first damage buff on it, and then I'm to my second line of upgrades on it. So I guess I haven't even gotten to the icebreaker perk where it would have been in the upgrade tree.
Interesting. What are you looking forward to from Zur? Is there anything that he has you want?
I wouldn't mind a hand cannon or hard light. Just honestly, as long as it's an exotic I don't have, which is a lot of them because I have mostly just the 3 bounty ones that are the most common. So I'm not really looking forward to much, though I do think if he does have the Skull of a Karma for Warlocks, I might just flat out purchase that one.
Interesting.
Ahimkara?
Ahamkara.
That
Yeah,
word,
I think,
whatever it is.
I think Bife would have some words with you.
I think he still might. Someone's going to rat you out. Someone's going to tweet about this to Bife. He's going to fly in right now.
I have a work buddy who calls the rocket launcher Galahorn every time I talk to him, and I just want to, I want to correct him just for Bife's sake, but I just kind of keep to myself on that.
Right? You'd be like, man, I know a Brit who would just flog you with a tea bag right now. What about you, Jez? Is there anything that you're looking forward to in the game? I imagine that you've pretty much got it cornered. What is it that Zur has that you want? Anything?
Galahorn, ha ha ha. Yeah, Galahorn.
Interesting. You
I
still don't
missed
have
it
that?
the first week that it came out, and it never dropped as a random for me. Because I had, at the time, Truth, so I had to spend my coins somewhere else because I already had a rocket launcher.
Yeah. It's awesome. Yellhorn is so awesome. Like it's kind of the same way I feel about this Suros, is that because they put out those weapon diaries so long ago, like I've been drooling over these weapons for so long that now that I've had a chance to pick them up, like I feel like I've known these weapons forever. Like I feel like, oh, there's that one that I read about, a year ago, 2 years ago. And that's, I don't know, that's super exciting. And I'm excited for you because it's a really nice, pretty rocket launcher. I was lucky enough to pick it up. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, so how do you feel about those new ones that you grabbed that weren't in those diaries? Not as big of a connection, right?
Yeah, totally. Not as big of a connection. It's like a new face. Who is this? And what can they do?
I think that's the problem with the whole lore system and the thing. Just something I wanted. Just another small weakness, basically.
I think I missed some of that. What was that you said?
Oh, I was just pointing out that it's just another small weakness in the lower part of this game. That's all. something that can be fun. And I think they will.
Yeah, I hope they do. And I have faith that they will. Let's see. What about you, Agrios? What is it that you're waiting for? What piece of gear or weapon or something that Zur's holding that you're interested in?
There's not any one thing in particular. I was a little disappointed last week. I was a coin or two short and didn't manage to pick up Patience in time. And I also missed Yellowhorn the first time around. So, either one of those I'd be happy with. I'm sure nobody else wants Patience in time again, so I'll hope for Yellowhorn, I guess. I have most of the other exotic weapons. I like redeeming the exotic engrams too. Mainly because, like we talked about before, you have a chance to get a better version of something out of that than just the armor that you would normally buy from him in a lot of the cases.
Yeah.
So Yellowhorn probably.
Yeah, that's cool. I'd really like to see a hand cannon. Although I did buy the Devil You Know based on, Dato basically said it was the best PvE weapon in the game, and so did Destiny Overwatch. Martin was all about it. He says that's what he takes everywhere, and for that to be the case, man, I am in. What are the people who are playing at the highest levels thinking? And so I picked that up, and that frees up space for an exotic. And really, in the last 2 weeks, ever since that Vision of Confluence let me down, in the last 2 weeks, I've really started thinking about all the weapons and gear as Pokemon. Like when I first got like a second exotic helmet for my Titan, and I thought, I'm never ever going to use this helmet. In what circumstance am I going to change this helmet? And why would I put these shards into another one? And it just clicked all of a sudden one day. I realized that there's combinations that really flow, and specifically with weapons, sometimes sometimes it's useful to completely redo your loadout. Like I was so certain that Vision of Confluence was going to be my end-all be-all, and then I was just going to have to switch between Yellowhorn as my exotic or Patience in Time as my exotic, and then I don't know, just other things keep showing up, and like the Suros regime, that's an exotic, so I wouldn't be able to use anything else. But that's what that Preda's Revenge is for, and that's really my favorite sniper rifle right now. Like Patience in Time is amazing, but Preda's Revenge is so smooth and it does so much damage, and it just looks great. It looks great. Same thing with the what was the Raid machine gun. What a great
measure.
Yeah, corrective measure. That thing is awesome. And I chose, instead of the additional stability, I chose the larger clip, and it sent it to 100 per clip and 300 total rounds. And that's nuts. Like 100 rounds is nuts. And it feels great. So I'm excited to just pick up more legendaries, just pick up more exotics overall, because over a long enough timeline, I could see myself switching to any of these in an instant, and that being the weapon to go with, especially with missions that have burns on them. All of a sudden you're going to want each of your weapons to have void burn, because it's going to do just so much more damage. So yeah, I've really been looking at gear and weapons as something where I want to collect them. Like it'll be like magic cards. What have you brought in your deck? And that's exciting, especially with new content.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I agree.
Honestly, I really wish there was a way for me to work toward legendary engrams, like you can work toward exotic engrams by earning motes of light, because I really would like ability to get more randomly rolled legendaries.
Yeah, I still haven't seen a Mida multi-tool that wasn't yours, Agrios. I'll inspect people sometimes, and I've never seen one person carrying it. You were the first person to ever mention it to me, and I've only seen it in passing, and that would be cool to pick up. I'd love to check that thing out. It sounds great. So
that brings up an interesting idea of whether Xur should sell legendary engrams instead of exotic.
Ooh. Interesting.
Like, the exotics never change, so once you have them all, well, you're never going to need to buy another exotic or exotic engram unless by chance it gets you a couple more points in strength or discipline or whatnot. But on the other hand, for the chance to get a better version of one of the, vendors' legendaries with better abilities on it, or better abilities for at least you on it, that excites me. I'd really love the ability to work toward that with it instead of just waiting for them to randomly fall.
And it would really make the exotics more true to the exotic tier in my mind.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Well, and I would figure that his library is going to increase with new content as well. I mean, what if the first week that he's here, he's selling DLC exotics the first week of the DLC, I mean, his inventory might continually expand, and that's pretty good for those people who start late and still want some exotics from, the original content when Destiny's a year old or something. They still have that ability to get it.
Was it meant for him to drop the exotics as well? Or was the exotics part of the content that even people without the DLC would be able to buy?
Oh, interesting.
Because it would have to be an entirely new slot, otherwise someone's going to be like, well, I don't have the DLC, so I can't get anything this week.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So I think it was confirmed that people who don't buy the DLC get access to the gear, right?
Well, some of the
it said some weapons and armor.
Okay.
So they will be getting something, but we don't know what it is. Actually, you know what? When I was looking through that list of what they're going to have, there seemed to be 2 sets of armor. What if one set of that armor is for everybody, and then the other set is for people who paid for the DLC? Because originally I was thinking maybe there would be one set for normal and then one set for hard, but this almost makes more sense. Giving the people who paid for it twice as many options, and the people who didn't pay for it still something special, still something different, but not the same. So I don't know. I don't know. All right, that's the show. Time to play some Destiny. I'm really trying to get my Warlock up to 29. Like I'm ready for Zor right now. Like, what is he selling? Fine, I'll buy it.
The funny thing is, it's getting to the point that I'm close to deleting my Hunter and my Warlock just to get ready for the expansion.
Oh yeah.
So would you have 3 Titans? Is that what you're thinking of having?
Currently, yeah.
Year-round.
You have 3 Titans right now?
Not right now, but it's going to be for the raid team.
Okay, so this is a great question to pose to you, because I jumped into Agrios and Shark's 3D Man's game last night or the night before. I don't remember. Maybe it was the night before that. But I was telling them how I was getting ready to delete my level 27 Hunter because I was going to make another spot for a Titan, so then I could run everything twice on the same set of armor. Like, once you're level 20, all you have to do is put on that level 29 armor, and then there you are. And they talked me out of it. Like, I wanted to be talked out of it because I want to continue learning about the Hunter and the ways that he works, because there is a power in knowing your enemy. And the Hunters are like number 1 on my enemy list. Like, Warlocks I'll kill, Titans I'll kill. Hunters scare me. They're too sneaky. They're too sneaky, and they just go around killing everything. So I want to understand it. But when I hear you talk, Jez, it makes me think, yeah, you know what? Screw that Hunter. Like, I want to run through 3 times. I want to run the raid 3 times. Would you say, Jez, that this was the right course of action for somebody who just wanted to super max out Titan and then get, I don't know, that's a lot of chances for exotic gear. Are you telling me that you were running 3 Titans through that raid and you still didn't get Preda's Revenge?
Oh no, I was running 3 different classes through, but the weapon doesn't matter anyways. But the big thing is that it's not. I wouldn't suggest it for anyone that's doing it just to like level up a character, because you can do that normally, like at your own pace, it's not really not that pressing of an issue. But when you have to really quickly get from normal mode to hard mode, you want to have as many chances as you can within that 1 week of leveling up one character to the max.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes sense to me. But I'm going to do it the hard way. I don't ever jump into games with you, Jez. I always figure that you're at the edge of your seat doing some crazy mission. You know, like you just live in that vault and you don't go anywhere else. So I don't ever bother you. I figure you're on secret missions all the time. But now I
Okay.
know that I was right. You know, you're grinding down on that material, and that is
I'll give
cool.
you a little insight into the world of a raider going even to World of Warcraft. The most that you'll probably end up doing as a raider is collecting material.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of spin metal farming.
Yeah, so
s-
how much of each resource do you have right now, Jez?
I
Like,
was
do you have
just-
like 1,000 of every single thing?
No,
or is it
currently-
3,000 of every single thing?
The problem is I'm running low on a lot of stuff because I have been leveling 3 different classes. But I'll be focusing on just one, and like currently I have over 100 ascendant energy, 126 ascendant energy, but I only have, I think, about 40 shards, and I want about 100 before the expansion.
Crazy. Yeah, I'm
You should give some of that energy to the poor. You know,
right.
just,
Me.
like
give it
start
to
a
me.
charity or something.
I'm way looking for ascendant energy. Like I have so many weapons that could just be maxed right now, but I have to be frugal. You know, primaries first. You know, heavies second, and then special. Because I usually only use sniper rifle. Like it's just the way my brain thinks. You know, like I'm addressing an enemy mid to close range, or I'm addressing them long range. And if they're not shooting at me actively, I'm going to pull out that. So I forgot what we were talking about. I'm ready to play some Destiny.
Farming.
Yeah, I'm sitting on 71 ascendant shards right now because I ran the raid with Influx on Tuesday night. He invited me to go out with some of his friends across the pond, and we ran the raid in like 55 minutes, which is for me very good. Like that's my fastest time, and I got the chest piece. So now all I need is the arms. If I can get the arms and then just level it up, I've got all the ascendant shards I need. Well, I would probably have to mine some relic iron for a long time. But I'm ready. Like all I need is the chest, or all I need is the arms. Come on, arms on Saturday. I'm ready. I'm ready for level 30, so I can go to the hard mode. I'm ready to do hard mode, and hopefully I'll be doing that on Saturday too. So I'm excited. Let's play some Destiny.
You say that, and then in 5 days you'll be gone.
Oh yeah. Where will I go?
Oh wait, you won't be gone just yet. Never mind.
Do you know
Oh,
when I'm gonna
I-
die, Jez?
No. I just keep thinking that you have an Xbox One, and I think that you're just gonna be lost in Master Chief Collection or something.
Jez knows when I'm gonna die, everybody. 5 days. You got 5
That'd
days
be-
to live it up.
That'd
Great.
be a horrible
Great.
prediction.
Thanks a lot, Jez. You're like, oops. You thought you were muted. All right, horrible predictions right here on
Yeah.
the G1 podcast. So why don't we get into news? Why don't we see what has happened, or what will happen, or what should happen? Agrios, what do you got for us?
All right, well, let's start off with Zur, since we were already talking about him for a good while there. This week, he came to us with, of course, Patience and Time, the sniper rifle we spend a good deal talking about there. The armamentarium for the Titan chest piece, Lucky Raspberry, the Hunter chest piece, and Voidfang Vestments, the Warlock chest piece. He's had all these items before. These are all fairly recent repeats. Along with that, he also came with the Emerald Coiled and Blue Plasma Drive for the Sparrow upgrades. And being that this week was a Halloween celebration, if you were wearing your Jack-O-Lite when you visited him, he had a special item for sale called Flight of Shadows, which gave you a unique reanimation, revive animation with bats fluttering away. And those cost 1 strange coin each.
Cool.
This week, the weekly heroic and Nightfall, is the Cerberus Vey 3, and this week we have for the weekly heroic and Juggler turned on, and for the Nightfall we have Epic, Light Switch, Angry, Juggler, and of course Nightfall. And for a change, neither one had burn damage, and this is the first week in recent memory that the Nightfall hasn't had any burn damage at all.
So do you think that because this week didn't have a burn on the Nightfall, and there hasn't been a burn on the weekly, that the burn could come back for the weekly? Like, do you think that these are randomized? Or do you think,
I think
this
it's
is
fairly
planned?
randomized.
Yeah. How long has it been since we had a burn on the weekly?
Well, we just had a burn on the weekly last week, but I don't think we ever had a burn on the weekly before that.
Yeah, I
Did
think
we?
last week was the only burn, or maybe the first week, but it's been so long.
Interesting.
Yeah, I
All
don't
right.
recall if there was a burn on the weekly the first or second week. I couldn't No, actually, I know it wasn't the second week, but the first week there could have been. I wasn't really up to par for the weekly yet then.
Gotcha.
Everything was a bit dicier without elemental primaries.
Agreed.
Continuing in the news, we have the weekly update. Of course, in the beginning of the weekly update, they spoke about the aforementioned Halloween event with the Jack-O-Lights that every player received in their inventories. Gave you a unique pumpkin head with sort of a hive face on it there. Before we get into the rest of the weekly update, I want to mention the legend of the week. It was Porter6958. He was a hunter, and he has revived over 2,526 Guardians in the Crucible.
That's incredible.
It is incredible. That's as opposed to last week's Legend of the Week, who had revived a similar number of people in PvE. This guy has only done these revives in the Crucible.
Awesome.
That's a lot
The
of
meat of the weekly
3-man.
update. What's that?
I said that's a lot of 3-man PvP.
It is. What
Oh.
makes me wonder how many suicide victims were revived via him.
Or was it a bunch of his friends that figured out how to do the connection deal so you could boost that number? Like, were six of his was it 6 of his buddies, like him and 6 of his buddies going in there, like you read about that, right? The way to get both sides being people having to do with the leader and their geographic location, and that's how you might get matched up with people you know. What if they just figured that out and they just kept running it? It would be a great way to boost.
It would require you to still. It would just be just as easy to have someone stand there while 2 people jump off the cliff and he res you.
Right.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you're totally right. That does make a lot more
That's
sense.
what I meant about suicide victims.
Yeah, I was wondering about that. I was like, well, I don't know if they just run out into the open, because that's what I thought you were talking about. I don't know how
Yeah,
running out into the open is going to help them.
I would wonder, like, are his kills really high, or is it just his revives? Because if his kills are higher than that number, around the same, then we could probably say it's legit. But if his kills are a lot lower, well, maybe he boosted himself.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, not to shed doubt if this guy really earned the accolade or whatnot. We're just, contemplating the nuances of statistics.
River broke my graphic. River broke my graphic. That's it. Show's over. Time to play Destiny. Did Warlock? Did you buy the? Did you buy that Halloween respawn?
I did, and I haven't used it yet.
Me
I
too.
was really busy setting up for a fireworks show, so I was not able to use it. But I want to just to see what it does.
Me too. I bought one. I thought it would be cool to have, but then I saw a lot of people were upset that it wasn't changing anything. So I figured I'd sit on it for a while. It'll be a cool little thing to add to my collection of random stuff. What I want to know is was Zur selling that for only a small window of time, and you had to use that Jackalite within that window of time? Or will Zur sell that to you at any point throughout the year as long as you're wearing a jack-o'-lantern head?
Good question.
We'll
Right.
find out
Well, no,
tomorrow.
I could try tomorrow.
We'll find
I've
out
got
tomorrow.
a couple. I don't care.
I was thinking of trying it out myself, but I don't know. The Destiny community is a very active bunch, and so I know that somebody out there will do this. Like I know somebody out there will be doing this at 1:00 in the morning, and all I'll have to do is really check Twitter. But I don't know. I'm happy to be sitting on those Halloween heads. Like I think that was a really cool little touch. Like I don't think that it was so amazing that it will keep people coming back to play Destiny, but it was really cool. And does anybody know? Was there Agrios or Jez? Was there confirmation one way or the other as to whether there was an actual effect versus the Hive? Like it said that the Hive may haunt the dreams of our children, but you haunt the Hive's dreams, and I can't help but think that says loud and clear that you will get some kind of bonus versus these Hive. Did we find this out? Does anyone know this?
I didn't find anything confirmed regarding that whatsoever. I mean, a lot of people thought that initially, but I definitely didn't find anywhere anyone was able to figure anything of that nature out.
I think
Yeah,
the screamings were more often when you were fighting the Hive than regular stuff, but
Well, you
That
didn't.
may sound down
There was
really
a lot
low.
of screaming.
Man, that threw me off for so long. Like I couldn't understand what was going on. I thought people were being murdered, like outside my window. Like more than once, I jumped up and looked out my window with the intent of calling the police because what the hell was that? And then I just realized that it was coming out of my TV. Like this was after, I don't know, 20 minutes of it. And the first time I used it, I didn't have the sound up, so I didn't. Those sounds I didn't even hear them. But then I used it again, and then I didn't want to use them anymore because how irritating is that? Like those random screams. I don't know. It was irritating me.
I kept,
Wait,
I'd go
those-
crouch in a corner and go to get like a drink in the kitchen, and I hear a scream and like come running back because I thought it was like under attack or something. I forget about it.
Those
I like
happened with the Jackalite? I thought they just happened normally because I was doing like a normal thing and there was screaming happening. It's like, wow, there's a lot of screaming going on.
You just thought you were kicking ass.
Well, I don't know. It sounded like they just boosted the ambiance level a little bit too high, but obviously it was meant to be just the Halloween thing.
Yeah. What else do you think that Bungie could pull something like this out for? Like, do you think that there will be like a Merry Festivities version? Because this was pretty straight up Halloween.
I'm actually to derail this. Well, not really derail, but I'm waiting for what the Sparrow surfing Easter egg is going to be.
Ooh. I like.
Are we gonna see like some Guardian like plastered on some wall surfing on his Sparrow, just like out somewhere on like Mercury when we get to it or something? You know, like because I mean they tweeted about it. I think they're gonna embrace it and make an Easter egg about it.
So how do you do it for the people listening at home who don't know what you're talking about? Because I also don't know. Like I heard about it, but I didn't look it up. Is it something you can explain right now?
Yeah. So the way that you do it is you first call out your speeder and then you jump off of it, and then you get back on it, but that time is about 10 frames, and once you're at about frame 8, you hit your dance emote or your sit down emote, and you will do that emote and then jump on your speeder, and you'll still be doing that emote for as long as you're on your speeder, or until you do a different emote.
Interesting. Interesting. I think this is something that Bungie will patch. Like I can't imagine them wanting this, like, because it's distracting. It's pretty
It doesn't
distracting.
hurt anything.
No, it totally doesn't hurt anything, but I was I was playing a pretty serious game, like I'm in the Forgotten Shore, and I'm like up against this huge captain, and he's about to swing on me, and I'm about to die. And out of the corner of my eye, I see someone dancing on their speeder going by, and it's like, what the hell was that? Like it was. I totally did not expect to see that. It was funny and awesome, but it doesn't fit in Destiny. Like I don't think that it fits. You're right. It doesn't break anything, and
I
I'm
hope
going
and
to do
think-
it.
It breaks
I
the
hope and think
immersion.
that they fix the things like the Atheon bugs before they go and put a speeder restriction on.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that. Hopefully, I wonder what they're waiting for. Like there has to be people already working on this. Has been for since these have been identified. So what are they waiting for? Like if they on their test server, does this break something else? Has their fix broken something else? How do you even do that? That's who I want to meet at Bungie right now. I want to meet the person whose job it is to figure out how we're going to move forward on something like those bugs in the raid. Someone's working on it. It's somebody's job right now to lead this charge. Who is that person? Bungie?
I thought you were talking about the speeder mode. I'm just sitting here backseat, like no knowledge of programming at all. I'm like, wouldn't it just be easy to make it so that whenever you jump on a speeder, to disable all emotes?
Right?
Right.
You
Yeah, but
think
you've
so?
got the pointing ones while you're on your speeder. Like that's what they changed to.
Well, they could have a time thing, like for 2 seconds after you jump on your bike, you can't use it. Can't use an emote.
Yeah,
Yeah, no,
that
I
would
get-
probably be something like that.
So in answer to your question, Remy, I'm only gonna say this because I kind of work in a beta test environment for my company, and what I'm guessing is they probably have a lot of fixes, and they're just waiting for a large enough patch to do it to where it'll make a difference. In my work, we get fixes fairly quickly for what software we put out, and then it goes into our build machines, and those get built, so they make sure that they pass the basic stuff, and then your testers, test that stuff to make sure that that was indeed a fix. But when you might get 20, 30 fixes a day, it takes a little while to make sure that you've checked all of your avenues and everything like that. But it also, you need to have a big enough patch to justify a patch. I mean, yeah, we've had some where maybe there's 2 or 3 fixes in the patch that are major, and that's about it. But with the raid, I'm thinking we might not really see big fixes until the DLC comes out. They're just waiting for the DLC, and then they're like, here's all these fixes here. But I know another issue with a lot of the bugs is they're not 100% repeatable every single time, and that's what makes it difficult to find a fix and make sure that that fix works. Like, for example, the Minotaur that seems to have an infinite life, it regens life instantly or really fast, like that happens maybe 1 in 20 times you go back, as long as you go back to Venus a lot, you're not really going to see that happen a lot. So with it being random and not always 100% repeatable, those are hard to fix sometimes.
I'm
Crazy.
not sure if they changed their policy or not, but pushing a patch also costs money.
Oh, really?
Like the networks themselves, like PlayStation Network, and I don't know if Xbox does it or not, but they do charge every time they have to put out an update. That's one of the major problems with the online system of like consoles, is that they're still charging for that type of thing when fixing things should be like a priority thing that you want to do and not get penalized for having to do.
Interesting. Interesting, because I was under the impression that like when you load up the game, you're loading up whatever version it is, but then when you get into Destiny, it says like there's a download within Destiny. Are you saying that Microsoft charges for that screen, or charges, because I knew that they charged for title updates, like changing the actual download of it. But do you think that that's what it is? Like when they update and it's just in game for us, that if someone was going to download that version, they had to make it up to that version. Like if someone's downloading Destiny right now and they haven't ever done it before, they're only going to get the live one. It's not going to be having to have the updates that we've had since the game came out.
Well, I think it still have to have to download those updates. I don't think they would have to update the download build or whatever you want to call it that everyone downloads every time they do it, which probably would be even worse. But just the big thing is that every time, like, not all the updates are downloaded from within Destiny. Sometimes they're like downloads that you see that just, like, I'm not sure how to describe it. Like, sometimes I see this more on PlayStation, I guess. Sometimes you'll sign in and it'll say Destiny started updating, and it does that outside of the game before you even log it in.
Interesting. Interesting. So, River, very nice to have you back.
Yeah, thanks.
You broke my graphic.
Remy was very upset too.
I
He almost
know.
had a rage quit to go play Destiny.
Right?
I heard it.
I said show's over.
Show's over.
Time
Yeah,
to
I
play
was still on
Destiny.
Twitch. Luckily, I was still listening on Twitch, so we're good.
So did you buy that Halloween respawn?
Oh yeah, yeah, I definitely did, and
Did
I'm
you
gonna
use
save
it?
it so I can
Oh.
use it throughout the year.
That's
So I
awesome.
bought a couple extra. So every now and then, I'll pull it out so that people will be like, "Oh crap, what the hell is that?" Something, this Christmas is coming up. New players are gonna play. That
and,
sort
and
of.
you're gonna have some bats.
Yes, look badass.
So what is your thought on whether Zur only sold that for like the Halloween weekend, or whether every time you go to Zur with that Halloween hat on, you'll be able to purchase that?
Well, how else are we gonna get the jack-o'-lantern thing?
What do you mean? I don't think we are.
Okay, then, nah. I mean, the time was then. You should have got it then. Halloween's over. Prepare for Thanksgiving.
Well, we're going to find out here in just a few short hours, because someone's going to try it, and then they're going to upload that story to Reddit, and then I'm going to read about it through Twitter. So why don't we get back to you, Agrios? Where are we?
Well, actually, I want to say something about holidays first. I think the most Destiny-like holiday that I can guarantee will happen is Easter egg hunts.
Easter egg hunts. How do you suppose this will go down?
No, just in the patrol, there'll be Easter eggs everywhere. And you just pick them up. And they are currency that you use to buy, I don't know, bunny hats.
Interesting. I don't see why not. They'd put a giant pumpkin on your head. Why not some rabbit ears?
Exotic rabbit ears?
I like it. I like it a lot. So yes, why don't we get to the Dark Below? Why don't you take us out, Agrios?
Okay. One other thing I wanted to say though about what you had asked about the patches and talked about the devs working on that. I wonder what portion of the dev team is actually still working on Atheon patches. It goes into a little bit of news I was going to get into anyway, but we already know obviously there's a bunch of people working on the DLC for Destiny, and during the Activision meeting, that financial meeting that went on earlier this week, CEO Eric Hirschberg revealed that development is underway for Destiny 2. What percentage of the dev team do you think is still actually working on patches for things like Atheon?
I think the better question is how much of this game have they been working on since the beginning? Because I doubt that this is broken up into, like, okay, we've only just created all of this content and now this portion of the game moves on. Like, I think that they designed, several years worth of at least like locations they have designs for. Like, I think that they have a really good idea of what they're doing, so much so that that much of it we are not going to see for years. Like when Reach was released, how much about Destiny did we know about? Nothing. And they've been working on it since then. Like, I think that there's a ton of it out there that's already set to go. Like, I think that maybe set pieces or like characters, but I think that in addition to that, I'm curious to know what percentage and who are the people who are reacting to the community. Like when they put that those bones, the disturb the bones or disturb the remains in Rocket Yard. Like, who is it that's bending the will of Destiny? Like, that wasn't going to be put in there until that exploit was found, and then they addressed it and added it. I'm curious to know that. But going back to what you were saying, River, what do you think?
I think we probably don't have as many people working on like the Atheon patch as we would really like, because we had a huge portion, a bigger portion of people working on DLC, because that's coming up, and I'm sure that's getting finalized here really soon. Destiny 2, we're probably not having as many team members on that as we would think, because it's probably still in the early pre-production stages. In my mind, we probably won't see that until 2016. So I think more people would be on DLC right now. Less would be on patching, and even less on Destiny 2. That's my thoughts.
I like it. Warlock?
Yeah, given again my experience with my company and kind of how I understand our setups, if you had a raid testing group of 100 individuals, I think we'd be lucky to have more than 20 working on the current raid, and the other 80 are working on the DLC, because just as rocky as this one has been, they've got to make the next one a million times better. They can't make the same mistakes, and they can't have as many frustrating and irritating bugs as we're all feeling right now in the current raid. And so there's a lot less, for sure, testing Atheon fixes right now than there are on DLC, the Hive raid. But I would definitely agree with River. I mean, right now the only people who are even looking at Destiny 2 are your concept artists and your writers and those type of teams right now, and almost everyone else is looking towards the DLC. I mean, I'm sure there's a good half of the team working on the House of Wolves right now DLC. As soon as that development team was pretty much done with the Dark Below and handed it to the testers. They're on the House of Wolves, and they're working on that. And the testers have the Dark Below, and they're beating the crap out of that. Like, that's just how development goes with this. I mean, in my company, we've got people that are working on projects right now that are 6 to 8 months in the future for a targeted release, but there's maybe 10 guys working on it. When it gets 3 months to release, there's going to be 200 people working on it, and that's just how it goes.
I'm curious to know. I've been seeing videos. I haven't watched any of them on YouTube yet, but it purports to show all of the cutscenes from Destiny, like basically like a movie, one after the other. And I haven't found one that's longer than an hour and a half. And I can't help but feel that in addition to not answering, I mean, even half of the questions that I have about Destiny, an hour and a half of cutscenes just seems so small. I mean, especially when you can, like Mass Effect, like how many hours of cutscenes not only are there just for a single playthrough, just one choice for every choice, but for each individual choice, there's some kind of offshoot. And you'd think that they would have said, "Oh man, we only have an hour and a half of cutscenes. We're basically telling people nothing." You know, so am I wrong? Is there more than an hour and a half of cutscenes? Have I just not found the right video? Have any of you watched this?
Well, you have to remember they didn't have time to explain why they didn't have time to explain.
That's right.
Currently, I'm looking up on a Reddit that I know of that basically is all about turning video games into movies, and I'm gonna see how long they have.
Awesome.
They don't seem to have any.
I think what they were trying to do is trying to do some new form of storytelling that nobody else has done, and I think they chose wrong. and we're going to see more of that. Not necessarily wrong choices, but different storytelling than what we're used to, what the conventional storytelling model is for video games now. Like with DLC, whenever they said that it's going to be like the exotic bounty for Thorn, that's not something that you see in other video games. So they're going to try something new again, which I think might not be in their best interest, in all honesty. But we'll see how it works. Hopefully, it'll work out for them.
You know what I'd like to see? I would like to see like this, like to go to the speaker and have the speaker say to me, "All right, we're thinking about putting up a new fort in this area, or this area," and then explaining, you know, like Dead Orbit wants to put this new fort or this new encampment, you know, somewhere where it's safe in the middle of a very dangerous area. Dead Orbit wants it over here. New Monarchy wants it over here. The Vanguard wants to put it here. I want to see these. And then he says to you, go to the corresponding vendor and take out a bounty, and then for all the people that you kill, you're getting these points. These reputation points are being added and tallied over a certain time period, and then whichever faction got the most points, the most reputation dumped by everybody, then that's where the change happens. You know, it doesn't have to be a fort or a safe place. It can be any kind of change at all, but it will be determined by player activity. You know, I want to know how many people are rocking Dead Orbit, how many people are rocking New Monarchy. You know, like who represents what and why. You know, I think that would be really awesome. I don't know how I got there from what we were talking about.
Confirmed for Destiny 3, Remy. There you go.
Right.
Sorry,
I will.
Distracted finding out, and I did find one with it does use some of the gameplay where there's some exposition, like Peter Dinklage talking,
Uh-huh.
and it comes out to be your favorite number, 1 hour and 17 minutes.
Awesome. Interesting. It's just so short. Bell Bunny was saying that I can't compare Mortal Kombat Mass Effect. Mortal Kombat had a better story. Like, what the hell?
And that's
no,
the show, guys. Let's go play Destiny.
Destiny. That's what the problem is I am playing Destiny. What was the question? Let's play Destiny. What are we even doing here? Not playing Destiny. I mean River might. But
Here's something funny: Mortal Kombat 9, all the story mode cutscenes comes out to be an hour and 25 minutes.
Oh,
No,
are you-
125 minutes. So 2
Oh.
hours.
no way. You're joking, right? Like, give me Mass Effects too. I'd like that number. But yeah, she's saying that I can't compare the two, and yes, I can. Number one, but number two, like I really feel like I understand what you are saying, and I think they just should have shot higher. Like, to think that Destiny and Mass Effect were not going to be compared is it's ludicrous. Like they should have just stuffed in just additional huge sweeping camera shots. Like, I want to know more about. I just want to see it more. How much did Reach add up to, Jez? Can you give me that number as well?
Yeah, and Mass Effect 2 is 3 hours and 13 minutes.
Oh, really?
And Halo Reach is no longer available. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, because it's 5 hours long.
I think part of Destiny's problem is that its basic tools, its basic presentation is all so awesome. It looks so beautiful. The gunplay is so excellent. The background story is so original, and you want to know more about it. That just makes its size all that much more of an issue. Like, the fact that it is so good. If it was a really terrible base game, do you think anyone would really care that there's not more of it?
Totally.
So
Yeah.
I think that its awesomeness is half its problem in that department.
Yeah.
Someone cut together Halo Wars, Halo Reach, Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3, ODST, and Halo 3 and Halo 4 together, and it's 5 hours and 41 minutes.
Interesting.
You know, I think a lot of this though was Bungie are just like, this is the new space for us. We're gonna see how well it goes, and as long as the first one goes, then we can get crazy with a lot of what we want to do. I wouldn't be surprised if Destiny 2 is just a completely different game, because they are taking all of this feedback in. I'm not expecting to see tons of game changing stuff until Destiny 2, but I'm hoping that by Destiny 2, they have figured out the best way to tell their epic story, and it's all in the world and not half in the world and half on your computer.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm here for the long run. I'm ready to.
But I didn't expect them to play it this safe.
Right? This is playing it too safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Very little hook.
Right? What are they waiting for? Give us more. Give us more right now.
I mean, at least the DLC is starting to hook us with Eris.
I'm very excited to hear more about Eris. I'm excited to interact with her in the tower. I think that the added changing of the bounties and whatnot being added to Saladin is a very good thing, because I didn't go and visit him at all. Like, I saw the bounties there, and I didn't go and talk to him, and I think that that's going to be a very interesting dynamic. So I'm really excited to see where they go with this new mission style. And I think it's going to be really awesome. I feel like it's going to be really awesome. But
I want it to be a cinematic experience, as long as after I've seen it once, there is a skip button. You know, I don't want to sit through a huge cinematic experience with Eris 3 different times while I'm going through the DLC on all my characters. Like, I'd prefer to have the option to skip if I want to. I do hope that is one thing I see.
Yeah.
I think they should do more in-game stuff, like the opening of the like the making of the key near the end of the game is one of the best moments, just because you're watching this thing form, but then the rest of the time it's just shooting. Hey, here's some talking. Shooting, here's some talking, and you might get a cutscene if you're lucky.
So, were you guys disappointed in the amount of story missions that they've confirmed? Like, were you expecting a lot more or around that number?
Well, I think what they're going to do, I think what we're looking at right now is that instead of it being one story mission and then you run through that and then you go back to orbit and then you select the next story mission, I think what we're looking at is probably a similar number of missions, but completed one after the other. So imagine the first five missions of Destiny just played one right after the other. Like, maybe not the one specifically where you go back to the tower, but just imagine 5 of them in a row. Like, you don't have to do them, but there is a continuity.
Oh, echo.
Oh, nice echo. And it's gone. Welcome back, River.
I'm thinking that well, what I'm thinking is it's you're going to talk to Eris, you're going to get your quest. She's going to send you to a place to go grab something or do something, and then either that's going to update once you do it, like the Thorn did. It automatically updated. You didn't have to go to the tower every time. And then that's going to send you to your next place. And you're going to have to do one of those for all 3 of the story missions. Like, that's how I feel it's all going to play out. What do you guys think?
Am I still echoing?
Nope, you're good.
No,
And
I think that's right along the lines of. I think you hit the nail on the head more or less there. I'm curious. So, do you think when they say that we're going to get the 3 story missions and the strike, that each of the story missions is going to be one of the levels of the exotic bounty like quests that will culminate with the strike, or do you think each of the story missions in themselves and the strike in itself is going to have a multi-phase sort of bounty type task where you go to different places for just to complete the strike itself?
I'm expecting each one to have its own quests associated with it. So I'm expecting, like, the first story mission to have a quest that's 5 parts long or so, and that might send you, you know, from the tower to Earth to Venus, back to the moon, and then back to Eris as the final turn-in. You know, but
that would just be a singular story mission.
Yeah, and well, inside of that quest is where the story mission is. So, like, you know, let's say you go to Earth and you kill that. I want to say it's that hive monster in the Forgotten Shore that has Crota in its name, that has, like, way too much life for a level 18 hive guy. Like,
Yeah,
I would expect.
End.
Yeah, that one. I'm expecting that to be part of the quest, and once you kill him, your quest updates, and maybe he drops something, and that's what you go turn into Eris, and then she sends you to the actual story mission as the next part of your quest for another thing. You know, that's what I'm expecting, is that the story missions will be ingrained in each of the quests that we're given.
So, if I understand this correctly, you're saying something along the lines of we're going to have to you accept the story mission in almost like bounty form from Eris, and then you would go and do 2 or 3 different little, like, patrol missions in different places, which would then allow you to go to do the story mission.
Yes.
Interesting. I like that. I think that's a good explanation of how they may be handling this new structure.
I agree.
What are River's thoughts on this? I want to hear your thoughts because I know
Rivers.
you tweeted about it.
Uh-huh.
Agreed.
River's thoughts is it'd be fine if the bounties from Eris were to contribute to a quest, but only contribute to. Now, if you accept a story mission, if you go to the menu, do the story mission, you hop into the story mission, depending on where it is that you're starting, right? I think it'd be better if you complete this part of the story. It'd be like a 5-parter or something like that. And whenever you're done, you could return some item to Eris or something like that. Go back, hit that same button for the story mission, and then it would spawn you in a different area rather than from the beginning. Is that true with current story missions right now? Whenever you do a story mission, you start off in a different place?
Some of them.
Or is it isn't? Okay.
Yeah, like you definitely, like, for instance, on the moon, if you go to start off the Shrine to Oryx or any of those other ones that go deeper into the Hellmouth, you start off right next to the Hellmouth as opposed to, like, the patrol area.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
the Shrine of Oryx is definitely starting just in front of the Hellmouth. Just the same place that the strike starts.
Same thing on Mars. There's a drop off on Mars that's right outside the Dust Palace. And actually, you can see them. Like, I noticed one the other day. It kind of looks like there's like a cardboard box, and then that Forces of the City flag kind of.
Just gonna say that. Yep.
Yeah, it's like little hobo hotels that you drop down into.
Right, and then so this would be a great idea for that thing I was talking about, where you go to the speaker and then he asks you which one of these locations do you want to reinforce. Like, could you imagine getting some kind of bunker there, and then maybe adding more mobs right outside, so you had to fight your way out of it? That's exciting to me.
I really
would like to
story
say
missions.
Continue.
Go ahead,
I really
Andreas.
would like to. I really would like to see things that the Guardians in the world of Destiny are doing have an actual changing effect on Destiny. That's one of the main things that I kind of was thinking Destiny was going to have that didn't end up having, that, you know, kind of disappointed me just a little bit.
Well, it's going to be in the form of like the loot cave with the pile of bones or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to change. It's not going to be as epic as we were thinking. We were hoping for too much, in all honesty.
Oh yeah, I understand. I agree with you on that one. My expectations were through the roof for Destiny, so it's hard to do better than when you're expecting the moon of something.
Mm-hmm. Well, honestly, I think what story missions really need is more cinematics. Right?
Mm-hmm. You know what? This to bring Destiny back to Mass Effect real quick. I feel the way about the story of Destiny that I did with the ending of Mass Effect 3. Like, Mass Effect 3 was supposed to be the culmination of all of these choices and everything you've done up to this point, and then the ending it just puttered out. Like, it gave me the basics, but it just sputtered out. Like, it didn't give me any answers to any of the questions that I'd been waiting for games and games. I spent so much time in Mass Effect. I love Mass Effect. And we'll probably play the next installation whenever that shows up. But it feels very much the same. It feels very much the same in that I just wanted more. Like, I just need more information. You can't... Like, I'm starving over here. I'm ready to eat an 8-course meal, and you've given me, table scraps. Like, that's the amount of content. Like, I love Destiny and the entire world and the settings and all of the creatures and all of every little detail that they've put into it. There just needs to be more. There just really needs to be more. Like, I'm starving over here. And I won't eat the Grimoire cards. I'm not going to do it.
One thing I wish they added to the story missions before we found out that we'll be running the same ones over and over is some sort of like random elements that could happen. Like you're just doing a normal mission, and all of a sudden a big high boss tears into the scene, and you got to take care of it. But everything is just so static that it's becomes boring. Like things, just a route thing that you run through, and that cannot be fun for an extended period of time, especially when other things are pushing us to do those story missions over and over again to begin with.
Totally.
Randomness is nice. I wish there was more randomness.
Which is a funny thing to say, considering everything that we hate in the game is also randomness.
Exactly.
I like the randomness personally.
You know
Every
what I'd
single
like to
random
see?
thing is a challenge to me.
I agree, and I think that's why I would like to see like imagine you were doing like some patrol missions, and then there's an enemy who only spawns once a day or once a week or once a month, and it's a very special event, and it's a special captain or a special hive knight or something, like he's a named creature and he only drops this certain thing once a month, like, so people are looking for this, and I think that would be really cool too.
Well, it's not far from those kill orders in a public event, so there's potential there.
Agreed. So
like a mini Atheon just pops out of a time bubble and starts shooting at you, and you have to take it down. That'd be awesome.
And I'm not even talking about I absolutely hate those level 5 captains that spawn in moth yards that are just almost impossible to solo. Like if you don't have your gear on you that is high level, like 25 and below, that captain is insanely strong. To be just another captain, like he should have a name. When that guy shows up, he should be Ming the Badass or something. I don't want to look like, if he's going to be that hard and my day is going to be that thrown off by his presence, he needs to be named.
A lot of them do have names.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do find it annoying that their shield recharges in the same time that it takes for you to reload. So you never really get rid of that shield.
Right. It's like as soon as you hit reload, he just sneaks around the corner. So what else did you got, Agrios?
Well, mainly, I mean, we've already dipped well into the Dark Below. I was going to give an overview here of the Dark Below. We know it has 3 story missions featuring new enemies and encounters in the Cosmodrome and Moon. It has the new tower character Eris, which we've been over. She's going to come with new quests, bounties, and rewards. There'll be new exotic weapons, the Will of Crota strike, the Crota's End raid, 3 Crucible maps, Pantheon, Sky Shock, and the Cauldron. The maximum light level will increase to 32. And PlayStation Guardians can look forward to at least an exclusive strike that takes place in the Black Garden called the Undying Mind. And Bungie has promised more. Harold Ryan has noted at least one exclusive exotic in an interview with Eurogamer. There's going to be tweaks to the activity playlists, a new Crucible playlist featuring new maps, and they're going to detail those more soon. The dev team's currently preparing notes on how weapons and armor will be updated and upgraded alongside of the Dark Below. I find this an interesting statement. It says about how the weapons and armor will be updated and upgraded alongside the Dark Below. So what effects will the Dark Below have on all the current weapons and armor that are already in the game? How are they going to change those? There's been several... a lot of information data mined, a lot of the exotics and whatnot uncovered, although we don't know 100% that all that will be in the game, just like the Halloween sparrows that we never saw. But they did note exotic armor shards and exotic weapon upgrades are some of the components that are to come with the new DLC. What do you guys think about that? How do you think that they will evolve our exotics and weapons that we currently have to continue to be useful past 30?
I think that we're going to see something that's similar to the plasma drive, and how it just like the parameters for use of that item, where it was going to upgrade a currently equipped rare sparrow, and that was really cool. That was really cool because there wasn't anything previously on the sparrow that said, here is an upgrade. There is an upgrade available for this. This was a section of Destiny that was really completely locked out until Xur started showing up, and then you were able to add this ability, this look, and it changed the endurance and the speed of it. I'm pretty certain it said something like that. I bought the blue one, so I don't know, Bungie. So I think that that's how we're going to see this. I think that we're going to see an additional upgrade slot added out of thin air by one of these like specific things. Oh my goodness, wouldn't that be crazy if that's what the second armor set was? Is what the first armor set looked like upgraded? But that's crazy talk. That's absolutely crazy talk.
We might be expecting too much.
Well,
Just saying.
anything that gives your old stuff like the ability, like, trying to phrase it, like anything that increases the pool of things you can choose from is better in my book, because it goes back to what they're saying, that no guardian at max level is going to look the same, which is really not that true anymore. The only thing that tells us difference is the shader, but yeah, anything that adds more options is great.
Agreed. So was that it, Agrios?
No, we actually have more. Along with the DLC that is coming, if you've got the DLC, along with the benefits that are coming to you, I should say, there will also be upgrades available to all of the people still playing Destiny. There'll be some new weapons and armor. They do just say some, so it's curious which of the new items they're going to have access to. Or say, the exotics going to be restricted to those who've got the DLC, and just the standard drops are going to be available to everyone, or how they're going to handle that's one of the questions. There'll be new daily bounties that will be available to everyone, as well as 5 additional bounty slots, which I'm definitely looking forward to. I seem to always have quite a few exotic bounties going at any given point. I'm on my 4th invective. And does anybody else have a problem with the number of bounty slots?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yes. Because I have 3 exotic bounties going on at one time right now.
What would you say your estimated time of getting rid of those off your bounty bar is?
Hopefully by the end of 2014.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So, yeah, it's definitely a problem, and I'm trying my best.
What are you
In
stuck
fact-
on?
Well, I got the whatchamacall. I got a repeat of Thorn. Got another Thorn bounty. I also have Cirrus Regime, and I think that's which one is that? 300 points of machine gun crap.
Oh, no,
And I
that's
have
No, that's super good advice. Soros
Okay,
Regime
super good
doesn't
advice.
come from a bounty.
okay, but oh yeah, that was a drop. So what's the other one I have? So
Is it bad juju?
depleted exotic weapon. Pocket Infinite.
I'm working on that right now too. I'm actually looking forward to when the gunsmith sells those rare fusion rifles. How much are those when he sells those? Does anybody know?
I don't care.
It
I'll
depends
buy
on what level you're getting him at, but a couple thousand.
Interesting. And do we have any way of forecasting? It's random.
It's
Just random, but everybody tweets about it.
Yep.
Yeah,
yeah.
I noticed
And every
that
time
too.
it's been tweeted about, I'm like at work or something.
right?
Yep, I'm always at work. I'm like, dang it, I need to go buy like 6 more of them.
Exactly.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm
So,
excited
yes.
about the new bounties.
Extra 5 bounty slots is going to be great. Yes, please.
Bungie, can I start buying stuff from vendors while I'm at work with the app? Because that would be nice. Just charge it to my account.
That would be awesome. That would be
Just-
so awesome.
Oh, that's funny.
While we're on that kick, can we let us put stuff in the bank with our app too?
I like it. I like it a lot. All right. So why don't you give us the wrap up, Agrios, so we can get on out of here.
Well, we've gone over most of the important things. What we know about the story so far with the Dark Below is that it's themed around the Hive summoning their dark god Crota. In Bungie's own words, without spoiling the details, Crota's summoning is a multifaceted ritual that has implications for story missions, quests, the Will of Crota Strike, and the Crota's End Raid. The storyline of the Dark Below kicks off with the return of Eris to the tower, bearing a grim warning about the rise of Crota. Eris is a new character that appears in the tower to serve as your guide. She has her own story to tell and serves as the primary narrator for the story missions. She offers her own reputation stream, unique weapon and armor rewards, as well as other item rewards for guardians who earn her favor. So she's bringing new bounties, new quests, and those are all going to be available from Eris, whether you purchase the Dark Below or not. So she is going to be a character in the tower that can be interacted with by everybody in Destiny, not just the DLC holders. And the quests are using a new storytelling mechanism. We mentioned this before. And they are going to be multi-stage tasks that culminate in a reward similar to the exotic bounties that we were just talking about. Unlike the bounties, though, the exotic bounties, the quest in Dark Below can be completed by players who are solely focused on cooperative story content of the Dark Below. I think that's important. You're not going to have to go to the Crucible first and say get a certain kill-death ratio or a certain number of kills in order to continue through the Dark Below.
That would be a little bit not immersion breaking, but it would be quite jarring to suddenly be like, okay, now that we're gonna go kill Crota, but first, go kill your friend some.
Perfect.
And that, in a nutshell, is what we know about the Dark Below. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle. I mean, because this is really going to set the tone on how they're going to handle the future DLCs. This is going to, be an example of how Destiny will evolve from this point on, what their plan is, so to speak. So I'm really interested to see how they handle with the upgrades and the weapons, and whether, a couple of months from now, if, all of the exotics I own are going to be next thing to useless. I'm really interested to see how this progresses.
Agreed. And I keep going back to that plasma drive because it's the idea of altering an item that is static as far as, like these things weren't there. I think that's how they're going to bring the older weapons into the newer rounds, like level 32. I think that's how they're going to do it. But who knows? Who knows? Are there other ways? Can anyone think of another way?
I'm interested to see in how they actually implement it, like what kind of choice you might get in it, if every weapon's just going to be a standard upgrade, which weapons you're going to be able to upgrade. For instance, are only exotics going to become better and you'll need to get new legendaries, or will you also be able to upgrade legendaries in some way, shape, or form?
Man, wouldn't it be crazy if in order to do this you had to sacrifice like another exotic? Like in order to upgrade one, you have to destroy another? That would be
That's
crazy.
fine. I'll use one of my 4 invectives.
Oh my god. Is that an
I don't
easy...
really...
What's that, Jess?
Go ahead. I was gonna say I don't really see them having you sacrifice something different. What I do see them doing is that you upgrade it and then it just starts from scratch. So you got to re-level it entirely up.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I would. I bet you that's the case too. I would agree with that.
You know what? Maybe that's part of the reforging. Like maybe that's something that's similar to that aspect will be available. Like you can bring this up to a level 32 exotic. You know, like what would that be? 300 and something damage.
I'm really hoping the Iron Banner reforging is just a test for the rest of the game, because I want to be able to reforge any legendary I get, to be honest, because that's my main issue, or my main stopping point for having more fun, I guess, with Destiny right now, is that I would like to complete different loadouts of different types of armor or something like that, but I have no way to say work for a pair of gauntlets that says increased melee speed and increased hand cannon reload speed, if that's what I really want on the pair of gauntlets I need, with the set, particular discipline strength combo or whatever I'm looking for. I just have to hope by luck, cross my fingers, I get it.
Agreed. All right.
I just want more sniper rifles with the bonus that when you get a precision shot, a precision kill, it reloads fast. That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I love my supremacy I got from the Queen. It has that ability on it, and it has by the time the stability perk you have on it, I can put all 4 shots in Sepix Prime Eye from all the way in the back of the room when he's all the way in the back of the room, just by bam, 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 bam. It's my favorite sniper rifle by far.
Awesome. And with that, we are going to wrap the show. Shout outs, Agrios.
Go Queen, Supremacy Sniper Rifle.
Yay! Jez.
Go Eris. You're looking fine. I don't know.
What?
I think I showed it at the Eris last week too.
Every week I tell myself I'm going to plan a better shout out, but
Crimson Warlock.
Hey, my shout out goes out to the mentors of the Destiny Reddit, or the monitors, because of their cool monitor delete message now. It says that Gorgon has found its prey whenever they delete a message. That's freaking awesome. So shout out to them for being cool and supporting the community in that way.
Awesome. River.
River wants to give a very special shout out to Bell Bunny. Congratulations to Bell Bunny for being the newest host for Guardian Radio. Some of you guys remember Bell Bunny's actually been on the podcast before with us. So I just want to give her a personal shout out and a big congratulations. You've made it.
Yeah, that's really awesome. I read about that on Twitter too, and that is very cool. And then shortly after that, there was a crazy scuffle on Twitter where it was out that G1 was actually her first show. And so I would also like to thank her for, I don't know, sticking by her guns. It was crazy. Did anyone else read that conversation?
Oh yeah, I definitely did. I definitely did.
That was very cool of you, Belle, and it will be nice to have you on Guardian Radio. Welcome to the Guardian Radio Network. You belong here, and
definitely.
You kick ass. My shout out is going to be again to Flounder. Thank you very much for all the years of support and all of your love, and for giving me the fine family that I have right now. Very, very special happy birthday to you. I love you very much. And with that, I would like to thank everyone listening for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the show. If you have any questions or comments, please send them to feedback@guardian1.net, and we will see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Happy birthday, Flounder.
Hey, bye.